What's going on here? No.
Hello there, Sir from 17 once again, introducing you to my Black Ops 2 Veteran Difficulty video walkthrough. This is the final mission of the game, entitled Judgment Day, and this is once again me selecting weapons, and I've made sure that I've changed, my guns pretty religiously through the experience, so that people not all that interested or curious of, the stuff in the game, without watching multiplayer content, can get a little bit of fix of new things. And this first sequence is another one where the optical flares go into full orgasm mode, and I quite like that, because I'm a big fan of artifacts on the camera lens, or artifacts being picked up by the camera because it can't perceive it in the same way the human eye does. And as you'll notice, we're dodging missiles, and you can die on this section if you hit the planes or if you get too close to the missiles. And this is a bit that really pisses me off, because you barely have any control of this section, but if they just would trust you to fly towards this direction, this could be really fun, this sequence. You could be full on, gliding about like a boss, but they don't. They hold your hand and they force you down a path, and that really frustrates me, because this could have been a level. This could be like fucking Lilac Wars. Look at this! Can you imagine if you had to manually dodge the stuff? I don't mind instantly dying when I hit a wall, as long as I get to have some fun when I'm flying. But this is Call of Duty, and all the time that you spend not shooting is time that Activision and Treyarch are not doing their job. And that is an extremely shallow viewpoint, but it seems to be the mantra of the fucking team. And this sequence, because I can select this sniper rifle, everything is going to be trivial from now on, guys. This gun is too powerful. All you need to do is know where the enemies are shooting you from, and put this eraser gun in their face, because it's that good. And I take this first sequence pretty slowly. I take down the turrets on the building, I take down the sniper guys, the rocket guys, and then I just pick off the stragglers. There's a lot of drones, there's a lot of stuff happening. It's a pretty fun level, but I don't know, this is the last level, and this is the second level in, the world's gone to shit mode, and I expected there to be more. Like, why didn't it happen halfway through? I don't know, I expected a struggle for the soldiers to get out of their own city, or to get through their own city to get to a place where they can do something. I didn't think it to be like, oh no, we've lost all the military power in America, and now quickly go to Haiti and fuck them up. I don't know. At this point, getting disappointed by things in the campaign on a Call of Duty is probably pedantic. But I still do it, because I always want better for a series that gets a lot of shit. Because the worst thing about how much shit Call of Duty gets is they're not bad games. They're not necessarily, redefining the genre every time they come out, or changing what it means to be a first-person shooter, but these are infinitely more competent than games like Homefront and games like Medal of Honor. Like, just look at Secret Service. Anybody played that game? Only reason I played that game is because there are 1000G achievements in that game, just like there are every other shit game I've played. That game's terrible. That game couldn't do first-person shooter if you stuck a camera to its forehead. It is dire how bad that game is. And yet, there are people that probably think this is as bad as that, when anybody objectively who doesn't have this stigma up their ass that it's another 12 months, it's another Call of Duty, why don't you get some originality, Activision stop whoring money, all that trash. Like, it's all valid points. I'm not going to disagree that this is a farmed series. I'm one of the people that is openly speaking up against it, because I would like them to take longer in the dev cycle, which is why I hate the fact that, Assassin's Creed seems to have a 12-month cycle, but it's not different devs doing it, it's the same house team doing it, which seems really, really bad as, a motto for good games. But then I realised that the actual A team were off making Assassin's Creed 3 ever since they stopped, making 2. So Brotherhood and Revelations were essentially the B team, and the sequences that you played with Desmond were outsourced. So they weren't even done by people in the fucking company, so that's why they were so bad. And that makes sense, but Call of Duty isn't. it is a 2-year dev cycle that is leapfrogged by the fact that there are 2 different groups making it. And Sledgehammer, if you think about it, Sledgehammer are like in 343 Industries. They've come into a series where they've been tasked to make something like the games that came before it. When they do it for Activision and the fragments of Infinity Ward that helped them, everybody complains because it's too close to being a Call of Duty. But when 343 does it with a Bungie, with a Halo game, they're applauded for sticking to the recipe that made Halo popular. And this is not me making the Halo versus Call of Duty argument, because I think it's a completely redundant argument. To me, it's the same as the folk that tried to do the Resistance Fall of Man versus Gears of War, when they took 2 completely different games. Which, doesn't make any sense, but there are a lot of people that seem to think that other game franchises like Halo, like Assassin's Creed, don't do anything wrong. And Call of Duty is this big, evil corporation trying to steal money and creativity from the industry when, for a majority of it, that's Blizzard. But for all the shit that this series gets, it makes good games. And I will openly say that I'm a defender of that fact. I am also realistic enough to admit that it does need to change, and this game has done a lot of new things, it's done a lot of daring things, but I don't think it's done enough. Nowhere near enough. And I do like Treyarch, and I do like the game. I haven't really tested Zombies to make past Judgement on all the new iterations in that, but the stuff I'm looking for is the big stuff, as I just nail a friendly because he stood in front of my bullet. What a twat. And that is the foundations. And one of the things that I am quite excited about Respawn, that everybody's kind of placing, bets on are going to be the Call of Duty smashers, is their new mechanic or their new game, direction is not carrot on the stick progression orientated. It's a completely new philosophy on gameplay. And I have no idea what that means or what that is, but I'm excited just to see the people that made the creative decisions in Call of Duty 4 go ahead to hopefully do it again with whatever game they release. And for all we know, it could be a Smurfs first-person shooter and we could all hate it, but it's going to have something cool in it, and it's going to have something really interesting. Because what people need to bear in mind is the genre has to, in some respects, become stale before innovation truly blossoms. Because look at Doom, look at Quake, look at all those kind of... the first-person area when id dominated. What happened in that era of first-person shooters? We transitioned away from, GoldenEye, from Perfect Dark, from all that stuff. We got a little bit advances in technology, and what was the next real heavy hitter that came out that was completely different to anything before it? Half-Life. And Half-Life changed the game completely. And then other games came along, did things differently. Like Medal of Honor has been around for ages, Call of Duty was around for quite some time. There was a lot of different people trying different things, and then the original Call of Duty came out, the infamous beach section on the PC by Infinity Ward when they were great. And it was amazing and it was new, and you have to have those, those doldrums before you can have those massive hits. And I'm hoping that because we're being patient and we are enjoying these games, eventually something's going to come out and it's going to be like, hey, this is the future, this is where this genre needs to go for it to stay relevant. And sometimes it does take a while, sometimes it takes a long time. But when it does resurge, it resurges with a passion, and then everything changes. Everything goes from health, boxes, med packs, and it turns into regenerating life. And all it is, the next logical progression of first-person perspective shooting games. I don't know what it is, I don't know what it will be, but while they're figuring that out, while they're figuring out the technology, and before anybody throws the gauntlet down for the next generation consoles, I'm quite happy to play games of this quality, because I enjoy them. And this is not a defensive rant as of why you should like Call of Duty. This is just a game of saying why I enjoy a franchise that is extremely demonized by a lot of people these days. And I think it's demonized on the merits of the fact that it does well. And, You all know those people that enjoy to hate on things that are successful, because we're all guilty of it at times. Sometimes it's just abject jealousy, other times it's just what happens. And I do apologise for anybody that was wanting strategy on this level, but as you've seen, all I'm doing is shooting people through walls before they even know I'm there. I am the ultimate douchebag. And it works! Look at this! I'm just hopping, shooting, people dying. Just unbelievable. It just makes no sense. If this gun was in the other Call of Duties, they would be so much easier. But instead we have the easiest Call of Duty to date and the most overpowered piece of equipment in it. Treyarch, what were you planning? Like, if only there was something along the lines of skulls in this game so that you could, you know, if only there were 1,000,001 things that Halo does great that this game doesn't. But just keep on shooting the dudes, keep on looking for the access panels so that you can use the environment to your advantage. And this is the last stretch of the campaign. One thing that I did find kind of douchey is you only get 15G for beating the game on campaign, on veteran, sorry. But you do get, I believe, 2 50G achievements for beating all the past missions and all the future missions on veteran. So it does kind of even it out a little bit. That console there, if anybody's wondering, enables one of those tiny robots to kind of help you. If I'm completely honest, all it does is get in the way. But it's nice to have, you know, Johnny 5 running around kicking some ass. Because there's nothing really to tell at this moment, there's no real strategy in this final video. I don't have to tell you to hide in this corner or this is a safe spot or anything like that. I'm going to talk about the next project, which is happening next week. And that is Hitman Absolution. Which I've already warned, don't expect the guide immediately, because these games take a hell of a lot to figure out, and I'm going to be trying my best to do it as swiftly as I can, but I did not, you know, figure Blood Money out in a day. It took me a while, guys, so you're going to have to bear with me. But I will guarantee when I do get it up, it's going to be something special, because I love Hitman, and I don't have any walkthroughs of it up, and I would like to do a really good showing for it. There's also some other things, but I'm probably going to be getting a job in the next coming weeks, mainly because my job hunt for things better than the standard, you know, call centre / retail shelf stacker position is not going very well. And at this moment in time, you know, my parents, they want some board, they want me to not look like I'm just sat around doing nothing, even though, you know, I'm spending countless hours making things like this, but they don't really see the value in that. They just think I'm a time waster, which is a shame, and I need to get something that can, you know, satisfy them on a monetary scene. So my channel might slow down a little bit, but I'm going to still continue to bring as much quality content as I can. It just might not be videos every day if I get a shit ton of hours, but you know, who knows? This is my window. This is my window of opportunity into getting something better for myself, and hopefully I'll be fortunate and passionate enough to get something good. Because I can't be a wage slave, guys. I really can't. I'm too creative to sit behind a fucking desk and work in a call center for 50 hours a week and call that my life. I'll end up shooting myself. I really will. But this sequence here, there's a lot of guys in this like auditorium room. Watch this dude. Takes one to the face like a boss, then takes another one and feigns. Look at him. That guy did like the Michael Jackson tilt. Madness. But once you get up into here, there's going to be a little bit of exposition, and then it's going to be the transition into the next video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the finale. So you take care now.